and holy. Gracious Father, you grant us hope that we might live that hope in our world, making a difference, challenging those who are in despair and uncertainty and fear. Take hold of that hope in their own hearts as well. These gifts of our hands, our commitment to that service. In Christ's name. Maybe standing, would you turn to 110, come thou long expected Jesus. Find our rest in thee, is the strength and comfort, will never be thou art. In desire of every creation, joy of every heart. Warn thy people to deliver, born to a child as a king, born to reign in us forever, as the sun and flames unkind, by thine own Spirit, hope of all the hearts adore, thine all sufficient merit, grace has e'er thy glory. Please be seated and may we bow in prayer as we come to God's holy. May the words of my mouth, the meditation of each of our hearts be found acceptable in thy sight, Lord, our strength and our redeemer. We have Creola with us today. That actually means something in terms of hope. Creola has been very diligent in offering services as Hope and Supply down at Erin and Osprey's Presbyterian churches. And she's here today because they are receiving a minister, James Naughty. I think some of you met a few weeks or ago. That's the candidate to preach for the call today. So as soon as I finish the benediction here, I'm jumping in the car and heading down to a congregational meeting. Hopefully they will ratify the desires of their hearts and my heart, and see Paul minister very soon here in Osprey. So it's as well. Again, Carol will step out of the coverage for a few weeks while we go over the processes of presbytery. Presbyterian bureaucracy worked out. Sorry that the Gilbert family left because I wanted to use their lives a little bit this week to talk about hope and introducing our thoughts today. Psalm 37 says these words from David: hope in the Lord and keep his way. Hope is a very big reality in the Gilbert family. You know, both of their kids, you may happen to know, perhaps you don't, both of their kids are on mission work in Australia. A very tough place to do mission work. It's not kind of like outer Borneo or headhunters or whatever. Surfing and boating and swimming with sharks. Yes, so challenge. But the McGilverys were maintaining a little bit of surprise with regard to their daughter, Leanne, who's over in Australia and coming home fairly soon. And they didn't tell her that they were going to come over at Christmas time to surprise her, told their son, and he was going to come into the airport, take them over to the hostel where they all stayed, and the mission team, and just arrive at the front door and surprise Leanne. Well, unfortunately, the word got out in Australia they were coming, but still the hope was there. I read a little Facebook message by Leanne. She is so excited at the prospect of her parents coming to spending Christmas with her just before she comes back to Canada in the mission trip. But hope, just alive in that Facebook email, anticipating her mom and her dad, I think her mom especially, to come and be with her over Christmas in Australia. Whatever they do in Australia, I don't know at Christmas time. Maybe Santa and his reindeer hop around, but is it Santa and the reindeer or Santa and the kangaroos maybe? In any case, there's going to be a lot of joy coming out of a lot of hope. And really, it's very appropriate at the beginning of the Advent season to talk about the word hope. Because Advent and Christmas are all about hope. Everything you think of really in terms of the expressions and the celebrations that we make of the Christmas and Advent season are about hope. We hope for family to get together. If you're a little younger, or maybe we do too, we hope for a special gift that will mean something special about the person that is giving it to us. We hope for wonderful feasts, turkey and all the trimmings. Ladies are hoping for a wonderful night together for their own special event as well. For special moments of worship, for myself, my family, and for many of you, Christmas Eve, light the candles and sing Silent Night. Those very special moments that we hope for in the coming Christmas year upon year. This morning, I want to just look at that word hope in kind of an overview for a second to remind ourselves by flipping kind of an overview through the whole pages of Holy Scripture today. We don't plan to do it for 3 or 4 hours, just cursory look, but to see how central hope is in all of God's working with His people. I think from the very beginning of human history, the human race hoped that things would be right. For those of us who've been taking part in the study of contemporary comparative religions, we've seen, just in this past week's lecture, how the lecturer was pointing out that in every major world religion there is some degree of hope and anticipation of a better world, a better day in the future. Obviously, Christians very much believe in that in terms of living the resurrection of Christ in our own lives. But almost all human beings, all members of the human race, whatever their creed or color it may be, share this sense of hope that there's going to be a better future than there was past. Think of the story of Adam and Eve, the story of the original mankind, this powerful story about God creating mankind, male and female, in His image, with a desire to live in relationship eternally with His creation, and creation with Him. And then they lose it all in rebellion. Theologically, we call that word the fall. Listening to the tempter rather than to listening to their God. Drawing nigh to each other, blaming each other. You know the story very well. But at the very root of that story is hope. Hope that there will be a better day before us. We call it the creation. Full of hope. And then on the 6th day, God created the human race in His image. In His image, He created them male and female, the story of creation and faith. And God saw all that He had made, and it was very good. And there was evening and there was morning the 6th day. Genesis. We call it hope again, that even though mankind turned in rebellion against their Creator, blamed each other, blamed God, blamed the serpent, fell from grace, removed themselves, God removed them from His presence, and seemed hopeless. And yet God came into the midst of that man and that woman's life and said, "I'm not giving up. I'm going to build a new world and going to begin right here in Britain. And begin to rebuild that life together, that relationship in my creation. But that was not the end of the story, and you know so well. Mankind is given by God of hope. God sends a flood, declares his displeasure with the rebellion of mankind. But he also instructed Egypt, all the human race, that this is not the end of the story. This does not have to be the end of the story. He instructed mankind, the human race, how to build an ark. I love that Bill Cosby comedy routine. He says, after God said, build an ark, and he scratches his chin and his head a little bit and said, God, what's an ark? There's never been an ark before. Hope was made possible when things seemed hopeless. God taught Noah and his family how to build an ark. The story unfolds. And despite the deserved judgment, and most of the world did deserve them and receive judgment, yet God was faithful to that one family, allowing them to be saved from the flood, given a rainbow of hope and promise that there would be a better day. And as we read in the words so well, I will establish my covenant with you. Never again will all life be cut off by the waters of the flood. And God said this to the sign of the covenant of hope between me and you and every living creature, except the rainbow in the clouds, the rainbow of hope. But that was only the beginning of God's gift of hope to the human race. God the Creator and God the Redeemer wanted not just to reestablish relationship with one family, that of Noah. He wanted to establish hope and offer hope to a nation of families. He would be guided and directed by his living word. That living word would lead a man named Abraham, to whom God would give hope when there seemed to be no hope, as an aged man together with his aging wife, with no hope, it seemed, that they would ever have a child, a family. The living word of God spoke to Abraham and said, I will give you a child, even though you be late in years. He spoke to this man of a promise to build from just Abraham and his wife Sarah a nation that would give human shape to God's offer of hope to all human race. Genesis 15, we hear that promise. The word of the Lord came to Abraham in a vision. Do not be afraid, Abraham. I am your shield, your great reward. God took Abraham outside and said, look up in the heavens. Count the stars if you can. God said, so shall your offspring be. When there was no hope for Abraham and Sarah, now there was hope, guaranteed hope, by the living word of God spoken to all things. Noah, the rainbow. Abraham and Sarah through the stars of the heavens. Sarah herself, she would be the woman who would bear that promised child to begin the whole lineage of family. And that hope would grow and grow as one family became 12 tribes. Look at Joseph and the coat of many colors. As God's promise of hope grew and grew generation by generation. And God led them into Egypt. He establishes a nation to be saved, preserved for many generations, until after hundreds of years in that nation, it began to be a threat, a formidable force that scared the Egyptians, and they began to enslave them. It seemed again that there was no hope. How could they ever become a nation if they were going to be enslaved, made to build pyramids, structures in Egypt? It seemed that hopelessness had descended upon them again. So it seemed. But one man was chosen from out of the midst of that nation of enslaved people of Israel. His name was Moses, and again, you know his story so well. Well, read it in Scripture, we've certainly seen it in the Ten Commandments, movie, Charlton Heston. The Prince of Egypt humanly, but in God's offer of hope to his people when all hope seemed lost. He is the deliverer of the nation of God's covenant people. He becomes their leader, the general, as they make their way out of Egypt into the promised land across the Red Sea. for all that God has in store for them. Hope continued because of God's faithfulness through the generations, Moses and those who came out. And even when the people of Israel would turn their backs in the time of the Exodus, as they were making their way across the wilderness, God would not give up on them. God would not take away their hope, but He would continue to bless them with the promise of hope, and hopelessness soon only not. And even when, through the generations in the Promised Land, things would become hopeless again and again and again, there would be wars and invasions and conquests with the neighboring tribes and neighboring nations, Egypt, Syria, Babylon, Persia. All of these would wage war and bring hopelessness again to the generation of God's people. But still, the word and the will of God was presented by hope. Still, the word of God, through His prophets, always held out the promise of hope when things seemed darkest. Today we read of one of those moments in Israel's history when things were incredibly dark and the invasion of the Assyrians seemed certain to wipe out Israel. The word of hope came through a prophet, Jeremiah. We read today a portion of that promise of hope that was given to him. The days are coming, declared the Lord to Jeremiah, when I will fulfill the gracious promise I made to the house of Israel and to the house of Judah. In hope, God declares. In hope, in those days, and at that time I will make a righteous branch sprout up from the line of David. He will do what is just and right in the land. In those days Judah will be saved, and Jerusalem will be living in safety. In the name by which He will be known, the Lord our righteousness. That branch so long hoped for would come and take the form of a child in a manger. In the city of David, where that branch was foretold. In Bethlehem, the fulfillment of all the hope of all the ages of God's people from the beginning of Abraham, Adam and Eve, and through Abraham, Moses, and Israel, and Judah. All the ages of God's people will receive the promise of hope again and again and again, because God is faithful to offer that hope and that promise to His sons and daughters. As Advent declares, came in hope. All through the ages, He came. And He still comes in hope to His people, wherever they are and whatever their distresses and whatever their difficulties may be. And He will come again in eternal hope. We read of those powerful words, the coming again of the Son of Righteousness, as Jeremiah anticipated. That righteous branch, Jesus Christ, child born in the manger, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, hope for the hopeless, promise for those who are desperate. Comes in hope for those of past generations, and comes also in hope for us. In this Advent, as we lead into the celebration of Christmas and the birth of our Savior, we come again in hope, calling out to Him to be our hope in our times of darkness. What a message there is in these words of hope this first Sunday of Advent for each one of us personally. Hope for the immigrants that are making their way even now. Be with us in Syria and other desperate parts of our world. Hope for those coming directly to our community to be one with us as members of this town and this area. Hope for those grieving the loss of loved ones. God will. The Hunt family, the Gray family, the Adams family, and others that we may be mindful of in our families and perhaps in our neighborhood. To cry out and say, God, grant me that. Grant me that certainty that you are with us always, and you will be with us for all eternity. Hope for all people this first Sunday of Advent. Hope for each one of us. God grant us that hope, and in faith we receive. Listen to your children pray. Lord, send your spirit in this place. Lord, listen to your children pray. Send us love, send us love, send us. Let us come to our God in the spirit of hope. Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you that despite what we face in our lives, personally, in our community, and within our work, that you are a God who never gives up on us, your children, your sons and daughters. Your faithfulness surpasses all our challenges. Great is God's faithfulness. Great is our God's love. Gracious Father, as we begin this season of hope, this season of Advent, we prepare ourselves to receive all that you have in store for us. Help us to be reminded that your love extends to us, even though we know that because of the challenges we may be going through, uncertainties, anxieties, and you say to us, I will send the righteous branch. We will lift you up and build you together as one. Behold that promise, that certainty, and this in summer. Thank you, O Lord, for the hope that reminds us that this life is not all that is. Which is spoken through your own Son of the day when he shall come again in glory. That day is very hard for us to grasp and understand. Gracious Father, we do indeed pray for each family going through their own challenges and give you the glory and spirit. Give you the blessings, even as we are. Gracious Father, thank you for generosity of this community, participating in very short numbers of days and coming from the war-torn part of the world in Syria, being citizens together as we have opportunity. May we prepare our hearts to be friends, caregivers to those who have been through such struggles. Father, hear these our prayers. Speak outwardly and those who bring before you and their own hearts. Arrow is number 143 as we conclude worship this morning. Infant Holy, Infant Holy. We stand together as we sing to God's praise. Little knowing for his baby's long old, swift our just singing, flowers bringing, lions bringing, Christ the bitch, Lord of all, Lord of all. But we're sleeping, shepherds king, the chill till the morning dew, glory, the story, tidings of a gospel true. Us rejoicing in sorrow, praise rejoicing with the morrow. Christ the babe is born for you. Christ the babe is born for you. For our benediction, just be reminded that there are still some goodies downstairs in the bazaar. If you want to look over, there's still available. Let us go out now with our eyes open to discern God's coming, seeing Christ in what already is, waiting in readiness for what